This is wild, as trade season is in full swing and the Lakers are looking at another starting caliber guard that, if acquired, could really boost the Lakers offense with his scoring chops and playmaking abilities. However, the most intriguing thing about him is he can be very affordable relative to other guards on the market, and it's up to Rob Pelinka and the Lakers to figure out how to get a deal done. What's good? I'm Okechi Apakama, and this is Lakers Digest coming at you with another video. And before we get into everything we have for you for today's video, I just want to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to get those Laker updates. Now, with that out of the way, let's hop straight into the news we have for you today, and that is the Lakers are linked to Jordan Clarkson. So, a lot of you Laker fans may remember Jordan Clarkson from those baby Laker days with guys like with him, Julius Randle, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, Larry Nance. He was one of the first guys actually part of that group, and was able to make a name for himself here in the NBA, becoming Sixth Man of the Year and just being a very steady scoring presence off the bench for many teams. Now, the Lakers have an opportunity to reacquire him, and this is from Evan Sinure, who covers Forbes magazine, saying that the Clippers, Knicks, Lakers, and Nuggets are among contending teams who have inquired about Jordan Clarkson on the trade market. The Jazz are seeking a promising prospect and or draft capital in exchange for Clarkson. Now, that last part is interesting there for a team like the Los Angeles Lakers, because they are trying to acquire some of these guys without giving up too much of their future capital. So they can possibly get this deal done using some of these young players that they have on the roster. And no, I'm not talking about a guy like Max Christie or Dalton Connect, but maybe even a guy like Hachimura or Maxwell Lewis. Maxwell Lewis, who has been doing a pretty solid time here in his second year of the G League, and then Jalen Hachimura, who the Utah Jazz themselves has expressed interest in the past, because maybe he can use a change of scenery to really change his fortune for his draft status, because he at this point in time kind of seems like a bust. But if he goes to a team like the Utah Jazz, maybe there could be room for him to grow and blossom as an NBA player. And that could be intriguing to a team like the Utah Jazz, who are really looking to find good players that can fit around a guy like Larry Markkinen, and hopefully in their minds get a high-level draft pick to fit around that future star player as well. So if you're a team like the Lakers, you can help facilitate this deal without having to give up one of your bigger name players. So especially with the money that a guy like Jordan Clarkson is making as well. So you don't have to get rid of a guy like Hachimura or even a D'Angelo Russell. So this could be a more attainable move for the Los Angeles Lakers if they aren't looking to go for some of those bigger fishes out there in the market. But also, another interesting to note, also from Evan Sinure. So this is what he said before, as the Jazz weighed a potential trade offers for Colin Sexton, John Collins, and Jordan Clarkson. They're valuing prospects in return over future draft picks. Utah already owns a ton of draft capital, but are intrigued by the idea of adding more high upside young players. So that is a big thing to note if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, who only have really 2 first-round picks to trade here in this trade season. And yes, they have some seconds to work with, but you want to try to use that to try to shore up your big man spot, and maybe you can find a 3-and-D guy out there in the market. So if you're able to make a trade to a team in the Utah Jazz and only be giving up say Gabe Vincent and one of your young players on the roster, then I think that is a more attainable deal that you can possibly get done for the Los Angeles Lakers, and it wouldn't cost you that much to do, especially for a guy like Jordan Clarkson and his services. Because if we take a look at his stats for the season here, he's averaging just about 15 points per game with about 3 rebounds and 4.1 assists, and he's shooting about 40% from the field, which is not that great, but 32% from 3, but he is shooting 37% on his corner threes, which is a very big thing to note, especially if you're playing for the Los Angeles Lakers next to guys like LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You're going to need to be able to knock down those corner threes. So Jordan Clarkson could be an option for the Lakers, but should he be an option for this Los Angeles Lakers team? So that gets me to the next topic, as is Clarkson worth making a deal for? And granted, with some of those other names out there are some better names that the Lakers could go, especially at that guard spot. Mostly guys who can or who are more of two-way players. Because if you acquire a guy like Jordan Clarkson, you're doing it more because of his scoring paralysis. And the big thing that I think of Jordan Clarkson is his downhill ability, which is something that not a lot of the Laker guards have, with the exception of Austin Reaves, and obviously a guy like LeBron James can do that as well. But none of the Laker guards are usually big downhill threats. Jordan Clarkson is the opposite. He's the guy that always is willing to get into that paint. He is very good at floaters with each hand, and he's the guy that can really work in that mid-range spot, that mid-range area where a lot of teams or players have really gone away from. So he can be a guy that can give you value in that aspect. And he can be a guy that can also pick up your pace as well, because he plays a little quicker, plays a little faster due to his athleticism. He's the guy that won't dunk on you often, but if you give him a lane, he can definitely throw it down. So those are some of the positive values on there, mostly on the offensive end. But the defensive end, that's where I really have questions for a guy like Jordan Clarkson, because he hasn't really shown in his career too much of his that two-way ability. And for the Los Angeles Lakers, you're a team that you're trying to really shore up that defensive side of the basketball, and they've been playing better defensively collectively as a team. But if you have some of those high-level individual defenders, which a guy like Gabe Vincent is, albeit with his offense kind of lagging behind, but it has gotten a little better here in these past few games, you want to shore up that side of the ball so you don't find that in a weakness, especially in a team in a Western Conference where there is a lot of high level guards, and you're going to be able to guard your position if you're a guy like Jordan Clarkson. So that is my big worry. But the positive side, like I said, it is more attainable to trade for him, especially if Utah is looking for some of those younger players. Because take a look at Utah, or what Jordan Clarkson is owed for the next couple seasons. He's owed about $14 million this season and about 14.2 next season, which is a pretty affordable price for a team like the Los Angeles Lakers. A lot cheaper than a Colin Sexton, who the Lakers have been linked to, who's at 18 or 19. And if you take a look in contrast to what the Lakers would be possibly sending out, and so these are the Lakers' contract status, and a guy like Gabe Vincent, who would probably be the main piece in that trade, he's owed like about $11 million and $11.5 million next year. So the Lakers would have to cobble together another contract to help get over that $14 million, and that Jalen Hood-Schifino $3.8 million, which is expiring contract, by the way, should do the job. And I think could be a draw for a team like the Utah Jazz. Because if you can cobble something together, let's say Gabe Vincent, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and a second round pick for a guy like Jordan Clarkson services, I think that's a pretty fair trade in the Lakers realm, because you're not giving up too much in lieu of a guy like Hood-Schifino, who you've kind of already given up on. And there's a lot of guards even within your organization who you're looking to develop. A guy like Quincy Oliveri, even Bronny James, who's playing better in the G League as well. So those are a couple of guys that the Lakers could be more veering towards, and you can make a guy like Hood-Schifino more expendable, especially in this type of deal, to a team like the Utah Jazz, who could use young players, young guards, to really help grow their next generation of teams over there in Utah. So I think this could be pretty appeasable for the Utah Jazz, and it wouldn't cost too much for the Lakers. That's why this would be a reason to do the deal. But evidently, I don't think I would do the deal, because this is not what the Lakers are entirely looking for. Yes, Jordan Clarkson could be a nice offensive upgrade over a guy like Gabe Vincent. However, you do drop off some, especially defensively. And if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, defense is going to be key here, especially with their offense kind of going up and down here in the early parts of the season. And I do think their offense will get better, especially when you have guys like LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Austin Reaves, D'Angelo Russell, Dalton Connect. So many offensive weapons that you can rely and use to really help that offense. So trading for a guy like Clarkson doesn't completely make sense for me, but he is a more affordable option in my opinion. But Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think Jordan Clarkson should be an attainable guy that the Lakers should get? Or do you think the Lakers should be looking elsewhere to somewhere else in the market, probably shoring up that 3-and-D wing area or that backup big man, which I think the Lakers should be, that should be their first option looking after. And just one more thing for us, guys. There is about 82% of you who have recently watched our videos who are not yet subscribed to the channel just yet. And if you guys want more of that, like your news, like your updates, trade rumors, game recaps, just every and all things LA Lakers, you guys want to come right here to Lakers Digest so you don't miss any of those updates. All right, guys. I've been your host, Okechi Apakama, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.